There is no doubt in anybody's mind that Frieza is definitely planning something big in the Tournament of Power, but the question is, has Frieza already figured it out and simply having to buy time in waiting, or is Frieza going to make his move sooner than we all expect and having to make his agenda perfectly known in trying to eradicate the gods alongside his universe? Frieza simply isn't here to help Universe 7 in competing in the Tournament of Power, but simply to fulfill his agenda in having to obtain not just the Earth Dragon Balls, but also the Super Dragon Balls as well. But has Frieza discovered some sort of a way to put fear in the hearts of the gods, alongside having to steadily plan accordingly until the time and place is right for Frieza to make his move? On today's video, we're going to be discussing Frieza's motives in helping Goku to reinsure his position in the Tournament of Power. And again, if you guys are new to this channel, I highly encourage you guys to go on ahead to punch that subscribe button alongside enabling all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel in connection to news, information, updates, discussions, and spoilers. Hashtag notification squad. And also be sure to go on ahead and follow me on Twitter to be up to date whenever Dragon Ball news is posted, as it also does bring me closer to you guys by interacting on Twitter. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. So I wanted to go on ahead and take the time to welcome EmoshIsLive and Dazael to this overall discussion, as we are going to be talking about Frieza in the Tournament of Power. Now, we understand based on the upcoming episode for Dragon Ball Super that Goku is severely injured after having to battle against Jiren, with Frieza at the very end having to stand over Goku and pretty much telling him this brings back memories to the good old days of Planet Namek. Now, a lot of us, including myself at first, were assuming that maybe Frieza was going to take the advantage in hurting Goku, but now we understand, based on what everyone is saying and based on the evidence provided, that this is going to be a similar action being done by Frieza as done by Goku during the events of the end of Planet Namek, when Goku gave Frieza energy to go about his, business and continuing to live on, except Frieza turned his back on Goku. Here, we can make the assumption that perhaps Frieza is going to give his energy to Goku for Goku to continue the battle. Now, we can't really say for sure that it's not going to happen, because Frieza, for one, was the one to give Goku energy for the Spirit Bomb, something that I don't think anybody saw coming. And looking at his overall reaction to Goku and Jiren's fight, to seeing how Frieza was so impressed by seeing Goku emerge with this new Ultra Instinct power, to where all the gods were dumbfounded and shocked that a mortal such as Goku was able to achieve this. And here we have Frieza saying, well, I expected nothing less. And then as the other Hakaishin were talking about how Goku had mastered this ability, Frieza at first, if you pay attention and you go back and you look at his demeanor, he looked to be a tad bit concerned. And then as the camera was panning out, we can hear him laughing. He was plotting something. So I want to start with Emosh. So my first question to you is, where do you see this scenario going about, with Goku having to be laid out, with Frieza having to stand over him? Is he going to pass him energy? And if he does, what is Frieza's real intention here? Is Frieza's real intention to have the top tier guys, having to be badly injured during this battle? For example, if he knows that Goku is the only one that can be on a comparative level to Jiren while under Ultra Instinct, do you think that Frieza is merely using Goku as a ploy for them to hurt each other? That way, when the opportunity presents itself, maybe then he can go on ahead and eliminate both of them? Because, as we saw with Gohan versus Frieza, the Omni Kings don't care if you're going to fight amongst your own universe. They were actually quite surprised. So, taking everything that Frieza was doing during the 1 hour special and carrying over to episode 111, where do you see Frieza after he gives Goku energy? And do you think that perhaps maybe Frieza had learned something about what the gods truly fear, and that's Ultra Instinct? Because they've spent hundreds, thousands of years in trying to learn that, and saying among themselves that it's very, very difficult for even a Hakaishin to learn. And here we have Goku, who have spent practically a few years training with Whis, and here comes this mortal who actually learned something that not even the Hakaishin were able to. So do you think that Frieza is trying to study this, in trying to learn that for himself? And even if that's the case, Can you imagine the type of damage that an Ultra Instinct Frieza could do if he had that to his disposal? So what are your thoughts on Frieza? What are your thoughts on him giving Goku energy? And where do you see Frieza going forward in the Tournament of Power?
All right, so it's safe to assume Frieza is going to heal Goku, right? I agree with that 100%. And if that's the case, I give Frieza so much respect right now. Ultimately, what it comes down to is Frieza wants to ensure that he wins the tournament. It doesn't necessarily matter, you know, what he does to do it, as long as
necessary.
By any means. Yeah. That's the goal is not for Universe 7 to win. From our perspective, Universe 7 has to win. That's what it comes down to.
For Frieza,
From Frieza's perspective is I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that Universe 7 wins. And what I mean by Universe 7 wins, that means I win. I'm the last warrior standing, right? So that's what it comes down to. I think Frieza going forward, after seeing the 1 hour special, I have a lot of respect for him now, especially him lecturing Gohan, telling him, you know, let's work together to make sure that we win. I like that a lot. Yes. And we really didn't expect that from Frieza, especially going to this tournament. We saw how Frieza was bumping heads with Vegeta, for example. And now when we actually come into the tournament, it seems like Frieza, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Vegeta right now, because Vegeta, he has a lot of knockouts, right? He helped Goku in the beginning against Universe 9. You know, he's done his thing. However, Frieza is doing things in the clutch right now that really make, I don't want to say Vegeta himself, but other characters on Team Universe 7 look not as overwhelmingly, you know, crazy as Frieza does right now, because Frieza provided energy for the Spirit Bomb. He's gonna heal Goku to an extent, right? It's safe to assume that. And the fact that he's lecturing Gohan, he double-crossed Frost, right? Actually taught Gohan something, taught his entire team something, taught everybody something, right? That, listen, don't trust anybody. But at the same time, the element that Frieza has is his unpredictability. The fact that you feel like you can't trust him makes him a worthy, you know, adversary, but also a very valuable teammate at the same time, because you don't know what he's going to do. And it's because of that, other teammates looking inside from the outside, right? You can't really predict what Frieza's going to do.
You don't know.
What
you just don't know, because look at the way he's carrying himself. But we can't deny this. Frieza has now gained knowledge of what he needs to do, or what he needs to become, to rival and potentially strike so much fear into the heart of the gods. Because this entire time, he's watching Goku and Jiren, and not once was he baffled or just angry. He was very, very calm. And honestly, I like this version of Frieza more than the previous versions, because he seems to be more devious. He's literally in there, he's studying you, and he's waiting for you to buy time so he can strike. And it's unquestionable that he's gonna strike, but the question is when. So you believe that he's gonna give Goku energy. What happens after? Do you believe that he's gonna be involved in any fight, you know, anytime soon? Or are they gonna specifically just hold him off until the very finale of this tournament, when then he begins to pop off? So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we know that Frieza's not gonna be happy with Vegeta after he helps.
Oh, no, yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, but would you? You know, like, would you?
No, I would be happy, especially like, when Frieza went out of his way to
universe.
Listen, Frieza went out of his way, and don't get me wrong, guys. I know in before, Emish hates Vegeta. Oh my God, he hates. Well, no, it has nothing to do with that. But it comes down to this is just pure facts. This is what the show is telling us right now. Frieza helped Goku, gave him energy for the Spirit Bomb. Frieza healed Goku. Frieza got Goku out of the danger area that Vegeta left him on the ground, okay? He was leaving him on the ground to go fight Ribrianne. Frieza comes in, teleports him away to a safe area so that he can heal him, okay? Meanwhile, that same Vegeta, who did not want to help Goku provide any energy for the Spirit Bomb, what he's doing now is he's helping Kaba of Universe 6. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's bad that he's doing that, but the fact that Frieza literally put his differences aside, and when you guys think about it, if it wasn't for Goku, Vegeta wouldn't even be alive right now. Because remember, Frieza killed Vegeta. Frieza's the one who killed Vegeta, and Goku and Vegeta begged Goku, listen, regain our honor. He's the one that slaughtered our race. He did all this to us. Regain our honor. You're the one who can do it. Vegeta was literally crying before he died, guys. Do you guys forget that? So the fact that Goku actually redeemed the Saiyan race only for Vegeta to act that way, like I said, I know it's the writer's fault. They're the ones who are making him that way. But at the same time, it's like, I can't just bash the writers and not bash Vegeta, because they're writing him. If Vegeta does something great, or if any character does something great, we acknowledge that. If a character does something bad, we acknowledge that.
Right.
Do I just go and bash you know, the writers only when they do something bad and never when they do something good. For example, I know Vegeta, I'm hoping he has a clutch moment. I'm hoping he fucking wakes up and doesn't make this tournament strictly about him. At least Frieza, we know going forward that yes, he has his own motives, right? He knows right now, after observing that fight, he understands, okay, I believe more than ever now. If I stick by Goku's side, if I help him, we're gonna win this tournament. Yeah. I gotta do whatever I have to do. I'm not gonna help these other douchebags. I already helped his son, right? I taught him a thing or two, and now I'm helping Goku, yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought I'd be here helping the Saiyans to this degree? You see what I'm saying? Right. So we come to find out that he actually has a great use of Goku, of Gohan, and basically of Team Universe 7. That's what it comes down to. Yes, I love Frieza. I like Frieza going forward. He's never really been like a character that I can just say, well, yeah, I like him in my top 5. But as far as Dragon Ball Super is concerned, especially in this arc, I like Roshi a lot. I like what he did, and I like what Frieza's doing, and I'm really excited to see what he does going forward. But ultimately, I think he knows more than ever now that as long as he sticks by Goku and supports him and helps him, it increases his chances of getting those Super Dragon Balls, coming back to life, and then doing whatever he wants to do after that. As far as the Ultra Instinct Frieza thing, I don't think that's his end goal. Ultimately, right now, I just think he wants to win the tournament, and he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens.
But what a way to put fear in the gods in someone like him learning that. It's like, I believe that it's not an easy thing to learn, but Frieza's a prodigy, bro. It took him 4 months to catch up and even exceed the powers of the Saiyans, bro, before he burned out, and that's his fault. But, you know, it's like, it's no denying that if he were to try to put, you know, effort into his life, he would succeed in doing whatever it is that, you know, he could or wanted to do. I just feel like during that time, he finally figured out what puts fear in the gods, because the gods were all shocked. Vermouth, Champa, Moscow, Beerus, they were all like, whoa, like, are you immortal? This is why I understand now why Zamasu hated mortals, is because they're gradually catching up to the gods. And for an example, Goku. But I wanted to go to Dazael. So Daz, what are your thoughts on Frieza? It's safe to assume that he is gonna heal Goku, but what about after? What is Frieza's ploy here after he just watched Goku collide with Jiren, after giving Goku energy and having the Spirit Bomb backfire? Everything that he's seeing from Jiren now, everything he's seeing from Goku now, is he buying time until the very end where he's gonna strike and he actually does what he wanted to do in not only winning the tournament, if that's the direction that they want to go in, or if in fact he's gonna strike Vegeta for helping Kaba? Where do you see his direction here? Because I still think that despite what he's doing in terms of helping the team out, he's doing that, I think, just to allow them to believe that he's a part of the same team, that he is playing along, and he is playing ball. But the end result is he's still Frieza. He's still going to do what he needs to do or wants to do to assure his dominance among the mortals and the gods. So where do you see him going forward in Dragon Ball Super in terms of, you know, what he wants to do and his placement, and even possibly learning it and you know, having Ultra Instinct on his own, to where then he can put the gods in their place, to you know, to the extent where we understand how fearful they were of Goku learning it, but just imagine if Frieza also knew it as well. So do you think it's possible for him to learn it? And just what are your overall thoughts on Frieza as a whole?
Alright, so on the topic of UI, I don't see that being anything near possible for Frieza, because Frieza, he only knows how to train normally. Like the Kai said, Kai, his name is Kai, whatever that Kaioken was called. He said that Jiren and Goku could not be on this level of power or combat with normal means of training, which means, you know, how mortals normally train. They need some type of godly training. So yeah, that's out the way. I don't see him using UI. But if he did have UI, that would be kind of scary. He'd just, you know, be flicking death beams all over the place.
He doesn't even have to be like relative in terms of power. Like, it's just a technique.
With how Frieza's acting, I honestly feel like he's the Black Zetsu of this tournament power right now, because if Frieza is confident enough to say that I'm going to manipulate even the gods, and then, like, who's to say that he's, like, not overconfident in the sense that he's found a way or knows a way where he can manipulate the people on his own team and people on other teams to, you know, benefit himself? Because as Emish said, everybody else sees it as, okay, the team needs to work together to win, and that the team needs to come out victorious. But Frieza's like, okay, I have a team, but rather than being a team with them, I'm just going to manipulate them because I'm the only one who needs to win, because I'm the only one who needs to make this wish as I want to come back. Right. So I feel like ultimately Frieza is plotting stuff, but like as you said, he was watching Goku and Jiren freaking smiling over here, like casual, just being
not
casual.
a cause of concern once.
Exactly. He was like, okay, this was expected. It's like, okay, I like. He was also helping Gohan to make sure Gohan is up there, because even though he's not really, you know, he's being a team player, but at the same time, he's doing his own thing, because
of course.
That's Frieza. He does his own thing in a way where he ensures that he's going to win. So it's like, I feel like Frieza is just behind the scenes setting up stuff to where when the time is right, like as Emish said, like Emish in chat just now said, he's playing ball. Like he's literally playing ball. Like he's playing bases with people right now. So I feel like he's setting up behind the scenes, like to where Emish said, once the time is right to strike, then he will take that. And it's like, how like he'll go, like Goku's regaining his power back, right? Like think of this scenario. Like let's say Frieza knows Goku's one of the fighters that can keep up with Jiren to an extent. Hit is one of the fighters. Let's say, like in our last video, let's just say Kale, I don't know, just brokenly gets to that level as well. I feel like Frieza is sitting back to where all the stronger opponents are fighters than him. Like I feel like he wants them to fight out first, get tired, and then he's like, okay, like as you said, Zeno's fine with him, you know, people fighting their own teammates on their own universe. I feel like Frieza's gonna have the stronger fighters wear each other out, and he's like, okay, you're worn out. I'm still somewhat fresh, as I haven't been doing much. I've just been flicking. No,
he's been absolutely fresh. He hasn't done anything that was seemingly a struggle.
Yeah. So I feel like Frieza's just gonna take that as an opportunity to be like, okay, I'm gonna knock you off. Let me knock you off too, because you know you're a threat to me.
Right.
It's the same thing with Frost. Even though he was helping Frost in a sense, he was literally manipulating Frost since the beginning. He's like, okay, I have no use for you. Let me just dispose of you.
At the very end, he told him, like, why would I want to work with an amateur like you? But
it's
the
like,
whole time,
why would I want to work for you and help you? You know, possibly obtain your goal when my goal is of a much higher priority than yours. So it's like, exactly. And Frieza is literally a like he used to be a galactic ruler. He's sent people off to wars and etc. So it's like, bro. Like this dude is a monster in terms of like dictatorship and how he handles things behind the scenes, even up front. Like what we've seen with Gohan. I'm sorry for that. Like that was just whoa. But yeah, I just feel like Frieza's just gonna black Zetsu the tournament.
Does anyone think that it's possible for him to learn the Ultra Instinct, or at least something that can put him on a platform to where the gods can just revere Frieza and just saying, okay, well, this is someone that we can't mess around with? Because episode 95, I do believe, he vowed that he's gonna get Beerus. He was like, you're not gonna rule forever. He does not like Beerus at all. It's all because Frieza does not like to bow or to revere anyone else as being above him. We already established that. But going forward from here, right? Does anyone else see Frieza making it until the very, very end? Like, do you guys see him being, like, as crazy as this sounds, even though this has nothing to do with it, does anyone else see the Dragon Ball Heroes opening coming into fruition, where he's going to be one of the last ones with Goku, perhaps, or someone else in the tournament? Or do you see him trying to get his way, and then ultimately getting knocked off by Vegeta, or Jiren, or whoever else comes along his way? Like, what do you guys think?
To be honest, I feel like since they're trying to, like, rebuild like Goku and Vegeta, not Goku and Vegeta, but Goku and Frieza's like connection as characters, I feel like he's gonna stay up there, because like they're trying to build something up between the two. Like as Goku said in ROF, if you weren't such a bad guy, you'd be like a really good sparring partner, or like just somebody that I can fight once in a while. So I feel like in the opening or whatever, we see him fighting against Jiren. I don't think that's happening exactly, but I just feel like they're gonna keep Frieza up there because Frieza is a very liked character throughout the fan base. So I see him lasting longer, especially longer than somebody like Vegeta, who doesn't even help his own team, but he's gonna help Kaba, who hasn't been doing anything in this tournament. It's like,
right,
bro, what? But yeah, I see Frieza staying up there.
Emish, how do you feel about this? Like, where do you see Frieza in terms of like placement, and do you see him lasting until the very end? And if so, like, then what? Like, where do you see him? Like, what do you see him doing afterwards?
Well, if he keeps up what he's doing, yeah, I could see him lasting long. He's been able to do it no problem without, really using a lot of energy. Everybody we saw him knock off, was casual for him. It really didn't require any effort. The only
Yeah.
time we saw him transform was to fight Gohan, just to make that fight look real. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, he's really had to really, you know, not use a lot of effort in this tournament at all, which is testament to what he's capable of in this kind of a scenario. You would think, you know, originally when he was first introduced into the tournament power, we thought, oh, he's gonna be such a problem. Everybody's gonna hate him. He's not a team player. He's gonna be the reason we lose, right? But now, he's actually could potentially be the reason why we win, if anything. The fact that he's so resourceful with his team right now, right? He understands who he had. It's like you're playing a game of chess, right? And everybody's his pawns pretty much. So it's exactly like that. That's just how I see it. I think if he continues this, the fact that he's literally had to utilize so little energy and last to where he is now, on top of that, is still fresh. He can fight a major threat at any point in time. He can fight anybody. He can fight Topo. He can fight Kale if he wants to. He can fight someone else who's strong from another universe because he's fresh. As to where Goku is not. Vegeta has used some energy to a degree. Piccolo, he's running out of stamina because he had to regenerate his arms all those times. They kind of fucked us over with Piccolo. Gohan got beat up a couple times, so he's tired. And 17 and 18 are chilling, so I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how that's gonna go down. But at the same time, ultimately, if Frieza sticks close to Goku, I think we could see the whole Dragon Ball Heroes thing, maybe a little bit of a twist. But ultimately, I like him. I'm really looking forward to seeing how well Frieza continues to utilize his team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible that he could try to replicate Ultra Instinct in his own right?
No. And another thing, since you asked about like him being revered in like the sense of Ultra Instinct, I wouldn't want him to unlock that and have them also revere him for accomplishing something like that Goku also just accomplished. I'd rather them stick with Frieza being that villain who is like a villain. Like this dude as a villain is a villain. I'd rather them see Frieza as okay. He's like he's beneficial, but he's also like very scary when it comes to his own team. It's like,
well, look at it this way: if Frieza, after all this is said and done, Frieza will be on Beerus's good side because of how clutch he came through in the tournament. If anything, that's what's really gonna allow him to do what he wants without having people watch him, right? Without having guys like Beerus be like, well, you're back to life now, so I have to, keep my eye on you or something like that, right? I think at this point in time, Beerus kind of owes him, and if Frieza continues to do what he's doing and it benefits the team. After all this is said and done, Beerus is kind of in debt to everybody to a degree because remember, the universes were going to get erased anyway if it wasn't for Goku coming out with the tournament. So the fact that Frieza came through in the clutch, guys like Roshu came through in the clutch, I think it creates a lot of interaction between their god tier characters as to where everybody else who's pretty much lost, who's going to get erased or whatever, whether or not they get brought back is a different story. But ultimately right now, Frieza's goal is, okay, I'll play ball. I know Beerus can Hakai me at any moment. Let me not fuck around, right? Let me not fuck around. I'll do what I gotta do. I'll play ball. Ultimately, though, when it comes down to it, either A, I want to be the last one standing, so I have the Super Dragon Balls, or B, Goku, if you win, I'll help you win, but you gotta make sure I come back to life. See what I'm saying? So even if Frieza loses, he's trying to make sure Goku wins. But even if Goku's losing, he's trying to make sure that he wins. But at the same time, now Frieza realizes, wait, if Goku has this new power, yeah, but I'm not surprised. Let me just help him out. I understand now that Goku is the key. So let me do what I can to help him so that way...
I think going forward, by the very end, by the very, very, very end, I can see Frieza finally trying to turn his back because as goody-goody as he is, let's say at the very end, it's down to him and a few others. I mean, to reinsure his position, I can see him trying to be the last warrior remaining by any means necessary. Let's say hypothetically speaking, it's Goku, Jiren, and Frieza. Frieza, all he needs to do is just provide some kind of support just to stall long enough for those two to like bang each other out. And let's say if Goku by some chance does ring out Jiren, here comes Frieza with everything he has left, knocking Goku out, thus remaining as the last fighter, as being hailed as the best fighter getting the Dragon Balls. But then again, it's like, who would really see that coming? There are people in the fandom that think that Frieza is going to win based on his cunning nature, and then there are people that believe that it's going to be Jiren because of his power, and then it's going to be Goku because of Ultra Instinct. Like this is where the fandom begins to get divided because everyone has like their own separate opinions. But my final question to you guys is: do you see him winning, or do you see him lasting long enough to where somebody else wins?
Frieza.
Frieza. I don't see him winning.
So Daz, you don't see him winning?
I mean,
as being the last warrior.
I wouldn't mind, but I just don't see it.
Emish, what do you think? As being the last warrior.
Listen, like I said before, he's at this far in the tournament, 25 minutes left, depending when this video goes live, and he's utilized nothing, and he's casually wrung people out. He's provided support. He's provided support for Gohan. He taught Gohan something, right? That's what I mean by that. He's provided support for Goku twice already in the span of one or two episodes. You know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. And if he continues to do what he's doing and just pick his fights carefully, I could see him making it very far. Then if it comes down to him versus Jiren, though, then no, GG. Nice knowing you. But ultimately what it comes down to is whether or not Frieza is going to stick to his casual self, stick to his demeanor, you know, stay composed, and continue to do what he's doing. I think if he continues to do that, and ultimately it really comes down to market value. Would the market respond well to Frieza winning or making it far? Would the market respond well to Gohan, you know, making it far in the tournament, for example? Maybe Gohan and Goku making it far in the tournament. You know, it really comes down to that. And I think they'll respond, since Dragon Ball Super has done a fairly decent job at giving the fans, you know, the concept of fan service. We got Vegeta, we got an evil Goku, we got Broly coming in as Kale. We got so many. We got the Mafuba. You know, we got so much Mafuba action. We got Future Trunks. We got Future Trunks transforming. We got Fusion. Like, we got so much stuff, so much content, to the point where it really comes down to, does it mesh well with market value? Does what the fans want mesh well with our market value, and especially with our reputation? You know what I'm saying? Going forward, I'm not saying everything is about money, but ultimately it is a business. They want to make money, and you know, I think Dragon Ball, even though its story isn't that great, it's not really, you know, good in terms of like telling a story. However, the one thing it does extremely well is like the fight sequences, the be all end alls. With the exception of Murzumasu, that arc. But going forward, like for example, the 1 hour special, if that was any indication as to what we can expect going forward, I'm excited. I think everybody else should be too. And yeah, that's pretty much how I see that. But I could see Frieza making it. If he wins, actually, I think that would be huge, because now it's like Universe 7 is indebted to him, right? And
a villain one, right?
To him. Right. It really shakes things up.
Somebody who was hated throughout the universe.
Right. Can
yeah, someone who's been through so much abuse, and it's just like he wins. Like, he finally gets the last laugh. It's like all these years of him vowing revenge and all this stuff, and he finally gets it in the form of getting the Dragon Balls, and then it's like, okay, now what? Like, where do we go?
What should I wish for?
Yeah, what should I wish for? Should I wish for Beerus to be destroyed, or should I wish for Goku to be erased? It's like, yo, the ball would literally be in his court, and it's like everyone in this tournament, assumingly enough, like wants the Dragon Balls for, you know, the use of good, except for Frieza. So that's like, oh shit, like that would really shake the foundation of the tournament. So post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on Frieza? Is he going to possibly learn Ultra Instinct, if it's possible for him to do so? I doubt it, but since he already knows what the gods fear, that's a huge step like in his direction, and trying to, you know, assert himself as the dominant figure, even if he's not a Hakaishin. What are your thoughts on Frieza making it to the end, guys? Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, punch that subscribe button, guys. Leave a like down below. Check out Emish and Dazael's channels. I will leave a link to those down below. They both do some really awesome stuff, guys, so I highly encourage you guys to go subscribe to their channels as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.